Have you ever wondered why some people always seem to know when things are about to go bad, while the rest are left in shock, scrambling to catch up? It's almost like they have a sixth sense. But it's not magic, and it's definitely not luck. It is simply learning to recognize the signs that most people ignore until it is far too late. Today, I'm going to break down exactly how to see collapse coming before everyone else. And most importantly, how to prepare so you're ahead of the curve when it all hits the fan. If you stay with me until the end, you'll never look at daily news, supply chains, or even your neighbors the same way again. Let's start with the most overlooked early warning system. Small, seemingly random shortages. When people think about collapse, they imagine empty grocery store shelves, gas lines stretching for blocks, total chaos. But it never starts like that. It begins quietly. Maybe it's eggs missing from the supermarket for a couple days. Then your hardware store is out of batteries, or a friend complains he can't get a part for his car for weeks. These aren't coincidences. They're tremors before the earthquake. When systems start to crack, the weakest links fail first. Pay attention to local product shortages. They often reveal much larger issues upstream. That's how people spotted supply chain collapses during the pandemic months before the big shortages. If you see patterns, bread, fuel, basic medicines frequently out of stock, it's time to start ramping up your preps. Now let's talk about media noise. You know how the news cycles through fear stories every week. Most are hype, but every once in a while, something sticks around. It stays in the headlines. Banks quietly closing. Inflation numbers adjusted. Food prices creeping up month after month. Watch for sustained stories that don't fade after a day. When the media can't ignore it anymore, it means the problem is already too big to hide. Speaking of prices, inflation is one of the oldest, easiest signals to read. But here is the catch. It doesn't come with a neon sign saying panic now. Instead, it creeps. 2%, 4%, 8%. Then suddenly your grocery bill is double what it was last year. Watch prices on staples, rice, wheat, cooking oil. When these climb steadily over months, your money's value is quietly vanishing. And that means people will become desperate sooner than you think. Another clue most people never spot is social tension. Protests, strikes, sharp political divides. These all point to systems under stress. Look around the world. In places where basic goods get expensive, crime follows, then riots, then stricter government crackdowns. That's how societies slip toward chaos. You see rising crime, more aggressive policing, and protests becoming routine. Take it seriously. The people closest to the edge are usually the first indicators, but let's bring it closer to home. One of the best ways to see collapse coming is simply watching your own community. Who's moving out? Who's moving in? Are businesses closing? Houses sitting empty? Or does your local government keep raising taxes and fees just to stay afloat? Those are local fractures. The more fragile your town, the harder it gets hit when the big wave comes. So what do you do with all this? Here's where we flip from observation to action. Because all these early warning signs mean nothing if you're not taking steps to get ahead. Start with your essentials: food, water, and medicine. But not in a panic-buy way. Build quietly, steadily. Keep enough to ride out at least 3 months of supply disruptions. That alone puts you ahead of 95% of people. Then think energy. What happens if power bills triple or blackouts become common? Can you heat a room without electricity? Can you cook? Old school propane stoves, wood stoves, solar chargers for essentials. These are the kind of boring preps that keep you alive. Now look at your security. As times get tougher, opportunistic crime always rises. Don't wait for headlines to tell you your city's crime wave has arrived. Reinforce doors, get motion lights, even simple gravel paths that crunch when stepped on. Criminals want easy, silent targets. And here's something almost nobody talks about: mental prep. Most people freeze in denial when reality changes. They cling to it'll blow over soon. The folks who get through collapse are the ones who adapt. So start training yourself now to question comfort. Notice how you react when something disrupts your routine. Can you pivot? Can you stay calm and think under pressure? That mindset is pure gold when the rest of the world is losing its head. Now let me give you a personal strategy that has saved people over and over. Create not physical ones, mental ones. Decide ahead of time what your lines in the sand are. Maybe it's when inflation hits 20%, or when local crime jumps by 50%, or when you see fuel rationing start. Have clear signals that trigger your next steps, whether that's doubling food storage, moving cash out of banks, or even relocating temporarily. And finally, stay connected. Build networks quietly, other families, trusted friends, even old neighbors you can rely on, because no one survives total collapse alone for long. If you start seeing serious cracks and you've already built mutual support, you're leagues ahead of the average person who'll be desperately posting online for help. So why do most people never see collapse coming? Because it doesn't announce itself. It builds in slow, boring stages. Then suddenly everyone pretends it happened overnight, but you'll know better. You'll see it coming before they do, and you'll be ready while they're still panicking. Stick around this channel. We break down these signals regularly so you never caught off guard. Drop a comment below. What early signs are you seeing where you live? Let's learn from each other. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Because the truth is, by the time the majority wakes up, it's already too late to start preparing.